Welcome to WTF Snippets, guys. I have to admit, I'm just crazy excited. Mike, how are you feeling?
Yeah, crazy excited too.
I just hope sometimes our excitement doesn't kind of make you guys a little bit nervous, because we're asking a lot of you, right?
Absolutely.
It's difficult to change.
Absolutely, and we are actually covering a lot of really detailed information in these snippets. We really are.
Correct. And when I say change, it actually starts with way of working, guys.
It does.
These organizations work very differently to how we are working at the moment in corporates.
No, absolutely, and it really comes down to how do you organize your teams, how do you make things more efficient. You know, in the last series we were talking about the power of scale, and how do you actually utilize the technology. But what that brings is a very different way of thinking, because if we're trying to become an exponential organization, it requires an exponential thought process.
Correct.
Which understands exponentialism.
And part of that is moving away from these silos and corporate structures into a very, very flat organization that is made out of squads. And
Absolutely.
These squads are not silo squads. In the squad will be a designer, a software engineer, or 2 or 3 hardware people who are now actually software engineers.
Yeah.
And you'll put in business people, and you'll put in compliance and risk, and get all the guys there. And when people say to you in squads you only need 7 people because you've got to feed a pizza, feed from a pizza, that's a really cheesy analogy that a lot of these consultants say. You pick the size of the squad and the teams that you want in there to solve the problems that you need solved, and it can be whatever size you want.
It can be, but it allows you to become a lot more agile and dynamic in your approach.
Correct.
But there's a lot of challenges to getting this right, because there's a process to this, and we've spoken about this before. It's really understanding. You know, it's like asking a smoker to give up after one day. You know, there's a process.
You've been taught in university how to work this way. You've done your internship that way. You've learned all the systems and processes, because that's what your job is. What are my systems and processes?
Tell us your experiences in APSO about this, because you had to do a lot of change around you as a working.
Correct. It ends up being a culture exercise initially, because you've got to persuade people to come join you. So you've got to go out there and inspire people. Get inspired. You're not going to tell them that they're going to work this way. You're going to get them excited and give them the choice to join a team or a squad that is working this way. Now, what does the working this way actually involve? It is really all about agile. It's about using lean startup, mixing this up. You can go on training, but if you're not executing and working in squads and doing daily stand-ups off your Kanban boards, you don't have to be a purist, guys. Pick what's right for you. In Google, we used to just we didn't even have a Scrum Master. We didn't have a product owner. We had a team leader. A team leader had 5 or 6 software engineers and designers around them, and they would just move at 100 miles per hour. And they would do a stand-up just to say, what are we working on and what goes into the done pile.
Absolutely.
Pick what works for you.
Absolutely. And I think what's critical here, as you go through this, and at some point you're going to have to move into this world, and when it does fail, please don't blame the agile process, because it's not the agile process fault. It's actually a process of change and transition into a new way of working, and it doesn't happen overnight.
Guys, and you are going to fail. In fact, part of it, the principle, and we'll probably talk about failure in more detail in later series, is you've got to create a culture of learning how to fail fast, fail forward.
Absolutely.
Just because you fail on a delivery, don't throw the process out. Keep on iterating until you've nailed it. And guys, this is not something that 1 or 2 companies are doing it. The whole of the tech world works this way. It's like standard procedure. The fact that you're not is because you're lost. So get cracking.
Absolutely, and it comes back to an earlier point I made. The top 10 companies in the world are fundamentally tech companies, and it's because they have this new way of working. And what this new way of working ultimately does is it allows you to become responsive to your customers' ever-changing needs, because they are not static needs.
I totally agree with you. And what does that mean? You end up growing exponentially. Exponentially. Go have a look at Amazon's, Google's stock charts. Yeah. They are always growing exponentially, and you can see it in the value of their business.
You can. And on that value business note, till the next time, thank you, Brett.
Yep. I hope you grow between now and then. Wait, Mike's thinking something different there.
I am. Like and share.
Yep. Subscribe and follow.
Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.